Hello again, everybody, and welcome to this, the fifth in the a series of short videos that I'm doing to promote a radical but logical alternative hypothesis to both quantum mechanics and cosmology. It's all down in this little book here called The Two Monopole Particle Universe, which is available on Amazon and Kindle, and you can access that by either typing in the title of that or my name, Tony Norman Marsh, and details would come up. Anyway, the only reason I say that is because the reason for doing these videos is I believe that I've come up with a sensible alternative hypothesis to the standard model, which most people will agree is not the final story. And I tried submitting a paper to, a scientific paper, but I haven't had any luck with having that accepted. So I decided to put it in a little book. And like I say, I want to get this hypothesis forward so that it can be thoroughly scrutinised. And, if people don't agree, they can prove me wrong. Anyway, in this video tonight, what I would like to do is finally put to bed one of the most ridiculous notions in cosmology today, and that is the theory of the Big Bang and cosmic inflation. Because quite honestly, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's quite embarrassing to see so-called professional people agree with this theory, because it's completely impossible. Even if you went into any primary school and asked any young child, is it possible to squash everything down, all your desks, this school, your mum's house, and all the cars, all the buildings, the planets, when you look out into the sky and all the stars, squash that lot down into an area smaller than the size of a point on a pin, they'd look at you and think you was total nutcase, wouldn't they? Anyway, rather than get into all the politics of it, I'd like to propose an alternative to that theory. And the reasons, I've looked at it, and the reason why the cosmologists and physicists have latched onto this idea is because, quite honestly, they haven't got a clue of how it happened. Now, the notion of the universe beginning at any particular time is another misnomer as far as I'm concerned, because and the fact, they say it's expanding, that is misconceived. And I hope to be able to present a logical alternative to that in this video. Before I do, though, if I can respectfully ask anybody watching this if they could possibly click the like button and the subscribe. Doesn't cost a penny, it's just, it's completely free. But it does make a difference, particularly for small channels like myself, because I want to get this over. And the more that it can be seen that people are interacting and wanting to look at these videos as an alternative, it does help. So yeah, I'd appreciate it if that could happen. Also, even if you don't watch it to the end, if you can let it run to the end, that makes a difference as well. And but a lot of the videos that are coming out these days, like I say, it's embarrassing to see, because there's so much rubbish being purported And all it is, you can see, it's that people are trying to, what they call, build their channel, you know. Well, I'm not interested in building any YouTube channel. All I'm interested in is trying to get these ideas that I've come up with in the public domain, and particularly the academic community. And I offer a challenge to them and anybody else. If you look at what I propose and you think I'm wrong, stick a comment in, and you know, I challenge anybody to prove me wrong. That's the only way we can progress, is if somebody puts up an idea and it gets challenged and it's either accepted or it's ruled out. But the thing is, if nobody knows about it, there's no chance of that being discussed. You know, what would be ideal is for somebody to invite me to one of their sort of panels, where they have these debates where there's 2 or 3 academics, you know, the really high people, whoever they are, or somebody like Brian Cox or Jamal Khalili, you know, where they do a television program, and they even these YouTube videos, if they was to sort of look at this and get in touch with me and, you know, discuss the points, and they think there's any you know, points there with merit, they could do a video which would help them and give the public the opportunity to think of something different again. So anyway, we'll get into it. The reason why there's only 2 bits of evidence put up for the Big Bang and cosmic inflation. Now, the Big Bang is said to be the beginning of the universe, some sort of 13.8, 14 billion years ago, whatever it is. And the reason they come up with this is because of the cosmic microwave background. Now, the cosmic microwave background is radiation that is seen in every direction, no matter which way you look, up, down, round, backwards and forwards, whatever, across the universe. And it can be seen at a distance of roughly 14 billion years. So okay, there's something there that needs explaining. Now, the physicists and cosmologists have come up with the idea of, in the beginning there was a huge Big Bang and everything emerged from a singularity, as they put it, and everything was incredibly hot and dense, millions of degrees centigrade, you know. And this all emerged from a singularity smaller than an atom. And then within a billionth of a second, it then expanded to fill the whole of the universe. It inflated to fill the whole of the universe, and then it cooled down. Now, I've never heard of such rubbish in my life, to be quite honest, because it's completely and utterly, no matter which way you look at it, it's physically impossible. It goes against all the laws of physics that we know and have been proven. They've said there's not enough time. There's not enough time to stretch out across the universe with the speed of light for all of that dense hot matter to get to those reaches of the universe, to cool down, to give an even temperature right through. And this is known as the horizon problem. Anyway, rather than going to that, that I believe is complete rubbish. I propose that the universe is not expanding. It's static. There wasn't a beginning. There's no age to it. It has always existed, much as it is now, and it will always exist, much as it is now. And the reason for the cosmic microwave background is nothing to do with a Big Bang. What I propose, and I've sort of touched on this in a previous video that I've done, which I'll leave links for below, where you could click on them and see the other videos that I've done. The first one was an introduction. But anyway, where do we get to? The cosmic microwave background. I propose that light has a finite distance that it can travel, because my proposal is that light loses speed and energy over time and distance. And this has been put forward by many people under the tired light theory. And I think it's right. And it's logical. It fits, to think we don't know of anything that will carry on to infinity. Now, if light has travelled 14 billion years, it's travelled a blooming long way. And, in that time. So the only figures that I give in my little book is to do with light travelling, and that's to do with redshift, which I'll come on to in a minute. But anyway, I believe that the cosmic microwave background radiation is in actual fact a point where light reaches saturation point. If you consider that light's capable of travelling 14 billion years, then during that time, you've got from all the galaxies and, billions of galaxies and that all around our observable universe, you've got light and electromagnetic radiation emitting from those. And from what we can see, there must come a point where you reach saturation point. You can't see any more than that. And that is what I believe the cosmic microwave background radiation is. And that also, they'll say, well, there's variations in that, although it's, pretty uniform right the way across. Yes, it is. But then there's all these different parts of it that are more intense than others. And I would say, well, that is a reflection of the galaxy density, or the matter density, that comes from behind that the CMB that we can see. So if you've got a point in the universe where there's a cluster of galaxies, that will show up as a hotter part on the CMB where they mapped it. So right, that would explain that side of things. The only other thing that it points to, like inflation and an expanding universe, is the redshift of electromagnetic radiation or light. So this is where the figures that I put in is the only thing that I mention. And if you consider light is travelling at 186,000 miles a second, then over 14 billion years, that light would only have to lose 1 mile per second every 140,000 years, which is not an unreasonable proposal. And in a previous video that I've done on light, I explain that light is a series of pulses of energy. Now, in the blue end of the spectrum, the frequency of those pulses, they're close together. In the red end of the spectrum, they're further apart. So, okay, if we measure that now, of those two examples passing a given point in a given time, then the blue end of the spectrum, you'll have many of those pass in a given point in a given time. The red end of the spectrum, that's further apart, you'll have few of them pass. So my proposal is that light that left a light source in the blue end of the spectrum 14 billion years ago has travelled to us. When it gets to us, it hasn't stretched out. The frequency between those pulses is still the same, but the fact that it's passing slower gives the impression that they're further apart because you're counting less going past, which matches what the present day red end of the spectrum would be. So I think that's a logical alternative for redshift. And because of that, you've done away with the horizon problem, and you've done away with this ridiculous idea of everything emerging from virtually nothing to fill the whole universe in a billionth of a second. And you've done away with an equally ridiculous idea of that universe sort of, suddenly expanded or carrying on expanding. And the reason why they say that it's accelerating is simply explained that obviously if light is losing energy and speed as it comes along, any body that's moving and is subject to losing energy will slow down, but it will slow down quicker as it gets further along. So it's sort of inverse, as they say. So the longer it's been travelling, the quicker it will slow down until it finally disappears. And that's probably the point of the cosmic microwave background. So very simply, without any mathematics, you can put up an alternative that does away with so many problems that the other accepted hypothesis does. And when I've gone through the various proposals in the standard model, these are points I've picked out. I've picked out things that are completely illogical and tried to give a logical answer to them. And I honestly believe I've done that in this book. And what I would very much like I say, I'm not interested in building a channel. I don't want to know. I just would like to get my hypothesis taken up by the academic community and looked at rigorously. And like I say, I offered a challenge to them, and I like a challenge. So have a look at what I say and prove me conclusively wrong. And I think it would be interesting. I think a lot of viewers looking at this would agree that a video or a number of videos where I'm being challenged would be far better time spent than looking at things that are coming on YouTube videos now that quite honestly is just rubbish. But anyway, best of luck everybody. Like I say, I'll probably be coming back shortly with another video on another part of my hypothesis. So I intend to do a few more of these. And I'll leave the links that I've done in the description, and hope to see you again. All right, there you go. Ta-da.